Hey friends, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to take a look at The Golden Age, Book 1 by Roxanne Moreil and Cyril Pedrosa. So I bought this book blind because I saw the cover and was like, that looks awesome. I gotta buy this. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm gonna buy it. Because this cover, man, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm fairly certain it's inspired by the 1950s Disney animation, especially the background art. And there's one artist in particular, his name was Avon Errol, brilliant artist. He did a lot of the background art for Sleeping Beauty and Lady and the Tramp. Those two movies, even today when I watch them, they're just so stunning to look at, especially the backgrounds. And this reminded me so much of that. So I bought it. Had no idea what it was about, but I'm very glad I bought it because this was a beautiful book artistically, and was a very interesting and captivating read, to be honest. So this book is published by First Second. This is actually a French graphic novel. First Second does a lot of stuff like that where they bring over comics from Europe and translate them. Man, this artwork is crazy. Like, look at this detail. I can't even imagine how long it would take to do something like this. Putting this many marks down, this is crazy and so cool to look at. The artwork is very stylized, and the way people are drawn, it's definitely cartoony, and again, it definitely looks in many ways a lot like 1950s style animation. Like very strong shapes, very strong silhouettes, very exaggerated. But despite the way it looks, despite that kind of cartoony aesthetic, this is actually a pretty serious story. It's not kind of like a light, fun, fluffy adventure. This is actually, it's got some heavy drama in it. So as you can tell, it takes place in sort of a medieval setting, and the king of this land has passed away, and he has two heirs, a girl and a boy. And the daughter's name is Tilda, and she is the older one, so she's the rightful heir to the throne. So the first part of this is her kind of dealing with the loss of her father, but also the oncoming responsibility of becoming the ruler of this land. Unfortunately, her brother betrays her, takes the throne from her, and then exiles her. And actually, I think he wants to kill her too. Anyway, she's on the run from her brother's goons. She obviously collects some allies. She starts having visions, and along the way learns about an artifact that could help her restore her power to the throne. And so she embarks on this journey across the land to find this artifact. This is so beautiful. It's not just the drawing too, it's like the colors. Beautifully colored. So yeah, so there's a quest. Obviously, it's a fantasy story, so there's gotta be a quest. But the interesting thing is along the way she starts to meet people across the land, and she starts to learn about this sort of there's a bit of an emancipation movement going on here, because this is a feudal society, so that means there are lots of serfs, basically peasants that are living in servitude to their lords and ladies and assorted nobles. And there's a bit of a movement there to revolt. There's the stirrings of a revolution in its early stages, and so she's being exposed to this idea that the people in her kingdom, despite her father being a good king, are not happy because they're basically living in servitude and this sort of class structure is suffocating these people. And so she's encountering that, she's learning about it, she's struggling with the sort of conflict there of what she knows and what she grew up in as royalty and the reality of what people in her kingdom are experiencing. And of course, she's still on this quest. She's still trying to get her throne back. So it's quite a really interesting story, and there's, you know, you think it's like a straightforward fantasy story, but no, there's this sort of philosophical question going on here, like what's better, freedom for people or kind of benevolent, being under benevolent rule of a good king or queen. Anyway, don't want to flip all the way to the very last pages, but yeah, that's the gist of this story. For me, the main draw is the art, but the story is very, very interesting, I have to admit, and I'm looking forward to the second book, which is called, I think there's a little bit here, The Golden Age, book 2. So really beautiful book, really well constructed. It's obviously hardcover, and it is a sewn binding, but you know, there's not a lot of, it's not a thick book, so even though it's sewn binding, it doesn't really, you don't really have that eye, because the pages are nice and thick and heavy, and they're just gonna weigh it down. Like this is some of the thickest paper I've ever seen in a graphic novel. And really, there's no gutter loss. You can see here, most things are confined to panels. There's the occasional 2-page spread, but you know, not missing a lot there in the middle. You can see the thread here for the sewn binding. But oh boy, this artwork. I can just sit here and look at this book forever. Yeah. Anyway, that's The Golden Age, book 1 by Roxanne Moreil and Cyril Pedrosa. I hope you like this video. I hope you like the review of these sort of books that, yeah, they're gonna fly under the radar. And let me know if this looks interesting to you, or if you've read it, or you've read other works from these creators. Let me know. I'm really interested in what you guys think. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and happy reading.